If you're just starting out in your own workshop, which is probably your garage or the driveway, money may be tight, and you could buy one, maybe two better quality tools, but you need more than a couple to do your project. This is what you can do, and this deserves a good talk about. Hello anyone, I'm Scott Boehm. They call me the old farmer. I mentioned that you may be starting out needing tools. In today's economy, you may need an additional tool. But inflation is strangling your wallet. If there was any less money in your purse, it would start floating like a helium balloon. You need the tool because you can't afford to pay someone to fix what needs fixing. So you have to do it yourself. Harbor Freight has a whole passel of low-end tools designed just for this situation. Granted, it would be ill-advised to use them for building an ocean liner, but chances are real good that you don't need to build such a vessel or repair it. You may have to redo the brakes on your car, or the washing machine or dishwasher has given a death knell, and the only thing it didn't do is play taps as it died in mid-cycle. So you can't afford to replace or have the item repaired unless you do it yourself, and chances are you still can't afford it. Your credit card is more bloated than the professional wrestler, the late Haystack Calhoun, at 601 pounds, or 272,609 grams. Hey, I gave you metric conversion. Don't gripe. Several of the big box stores like Walmart have a house brand that is downright affordable. I hear they're pretty good tools, but to be honest, I'm more familiar with Harbor Freight low-end tools such as Warrior and Pittsburgh. There are a few other house brands that are designed to help when the Pazubas, that's the currency for Rocky and Bullwinkle, are strangers to one another. It's not good if the money in your wallet are devout hermits. I've rebuilt brakes on pickups and cars, replaced the exhaust system on more than several vehicles. I've repaired washers, drivers, and even my mother's electric stove when one Christmas Eve, an explosion was heard during the family gathering. The circuit breaker worked perfectly and shut off the circuit. I pulled out the stove and reset the breaker. There was no doubt which burner shorted out. There was shrapnel all over the stove and the floor. The day after Christmas, I got the parts and rebuilt the stove and got it back to factory specs. My mother thought it was time for a new stove, so I went along and helped her pick out one. I did all this after leaving the farm, and it had been sold. Otherwise, I would have had commercial-grade tools to work with. This was back in the days when Christmas was devastating to the wallet. I had the tools needed to fix things, but they were either used, actually one step from being worn out, to the cheapest tools available, the kind that the name of the tool company wore off after 10 minutes use. Mostly I bought the low-end Harbor Freight tools, and many of them I still have today, and keep them as backups. The trick to using low-end tools is simple. Don't push them. If possible, don't force the power tool so that it grinds down to a lower speed. Don't let the tool get hot. Stop and let it cool down if it gets warm enough to melt butter. The bearings on such power tools are made from softer metals and have sloppier tolerances that can wear the tool out quicker if too much pressure is applied. With hand tools such as combination wrenches, I will only use the box end if at all possible. If I have a stuck bolt, screw, or nut, I use a few drops of oil and allow enough time for it to work down into the threads. And then I will put on the box end side of the wrench and start tapping on the tool lightly with a hammer. If you use the open end side with low-end tools, you can end up spreading the jaws apart. That's why I only use the box end side whenever possible, even with better quality hand tools. The trick is not to force the low-end tools to the limits, but give as much headroom as possible from the stress point of the tool. Yes, sometimes you have to put the pedal to the metal, but I try to avoid it whenever possible. I still have quite a few low-end tools that are from Harbor Freight that are maybe somewhere around 40 years old, give or take a decade. It includes power tools, too. Here's a last tip. I have not had good luck with low-end cordless tools. Most times, the regulators, either in the battery or the tool itself, will burn out, and you have to get another tool to replace it. This is why cordless tools had to be around for many years before I started buying them, even the good quality cordless tools. Thank you for watching, and please be safe. We'd sure appreciate it if you could subscribe and leave a comment. You know how YouTube behaves. They won't believe you watched a video unless you leave a comment. Also, it would help if you ring the bell and do a thumbs up. As you know, if I find a good channel, I pass it on to you. So if you think it's appropriate, it would sure help if you passed us on to your closest 10,000 friends and family. But above all, give a helping hand to someone today. It's the best gift to give. It'll make you feel good too.
Don't forget to click like, subscribe, share, or ring the bell buttons on the Original Old Farmer channel. We enjoy reading the comments that you leave, and they do help the channel, so keep them coming. And once again, thank you for watching The Original Old Farmer.
The VFW National Home for Children, providing families of veterans and active duty military opportunities for growth and development in a nurturing community. Please consider a donation to help their children and families. I.C. Rhodes speaking.